My name is Steve Torres with Cabrillo Smile Foundation, and we have some special guests with us today, and we're coming to you live from the Children's Cancer Support Center in San Antonio. And so today we have the pleasure of having Noah Adams and Debbie Harper. Thank you so much for being here today. A little bit about Noah and Debbie. At 17 years old, in the midst of the COVID pandemic, Noah was diagnosed with Ewing Sarcoma, a rare form of brain cancer. He underwent 10 months of aggressive chemotherapy, all inpatient stays varying between 2 to 6 days every 2 weeks. Is that correct?
It's bone cancer.
Bone cancer.
Bone cancer.
Yeah.
So midway through chemotherapy, Noah had the cancerous tumor removed and became an amputee. The surgery is called, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to try to pronounce it, rotationplasty. Is that correct? All right. 4 months after declaring his independence from cancer on September 1st, 2021, Noah founded the Stay Strong Foundation. Appropriately, the foundation's birthdate also marks the first day of Child Cancer Awareness Month. Although Noah received outstanding report while on his journey, he is well aware that not everyone has the same support. Noah funded the organization to support other hero warriors and to be their son through their storm in any way that they can. Noah is currently in remission and attends the University of Pittsburgh, studying to be a child and adolescent psychiatrist.
Yes.
It's amazing. That's awesome. The Stay Strong Foundation Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And today we want to welcome Noah and Debbie, and want to say thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
First off, let me start off by saying, man, what an incredible young man you are. I mean, to not only have to face cancer, but the insurmountable odds and the tough, diagnosis, and it's just incredible. I know it's not easy being young and dealing with such impossible circumstances. So from the bottom of our hearts, from Cabrillo Smile Foundation, thank you so very much. And man, what just an amazing journey. I can't wait to hear your story and just kind of everything that's going on. So as I said earlier, we're streaming live at the Children's Cancer Support Center, and we do have an audience with us. And so I want to say thank you so much for our audience for being here today. And I can't wait to share to hear Noah's story. So we have a couple of questions I want to ask you both, and so we'll start off for both of you. Can you share with us what life was like before you were diagnosed with cancer?
Well, I mean, Noah's the youngest of my 4 kids, and and he was a teenager then. So just imagine 16, 17-year-old teenager. That's how life was.
Sure, yeah.
It was crazy. It was football games and friends and going out and that sort of thing. Just being a kid. And at the time, it was just the end of his junior year. So it was normally crazy, I guess. That's the easiest way to explain it. And then the pandemic hit. So then we were on lockdown. And, Noah got mad at me one time. I get reminded every year on those, those time hops, so they give you their memories on Facebook. And Noah got mad at me one time, and because we were on lockdown, so I didn't let anybody go anywhere. Nobody came in, nobody left, and so he was like, I just can't wait to be with my friends again. And this was probably about a month or so before he got diagnosed.
I mean, before the diagnosis, it was COVID. It was a rough time period, just because I'm a very extroverted person, so just being locked up in my room, I know some people loved it, but it drove me crazy. So I was like clawing and scratching, trying to find my way out of this house. And the only thing I could get away with was skateboarding around my neighborhood. So I took that up, and I was like, you know what, I'll wear a mask, just so she'll let me go out. And sure enough, I taught myself how to skateboard, and I was just having fun. But then I got injured, and one thing led to another. I got a scan, and it came back. So
wow, so it was incidental then. So it was during you were skateboarding, you hurt yourself, and you went in because you hurt yourself skateboarding.
Yeah. Well, and he hurt himself a couple times, but him being my 4th, and he's also a boy. I have 2 boys and 2 girls, and him being a boy, I was like, well, go do it again. You hurt yourself, go do it again. And
I was asking her to go to the doctor for about 2 months beforehand. And then she was like, "Oh, okay. I guess he's telling the truth this time." It was a boy who cried wolf, but we ended up catching it just fine. So
yeah. We went to our regular doctor and he didn't know anything, and so he's like, well, sports injury, skateboard, sports injury.
Yeah.
Sent to a sports doctor. She kind of looked at it. She thought it could be. She threw out a Baker's cyst because it was a little bit of a mass there and whatnot. And she says, just to be safe, let's just do an MRI. Needless to say, we didn't think that we were coming back to hear that. We thought we were going to hear, something she had thought before.
Sure.
And so, yeah.
It was cancer.
It was cancer.
Wow. How many days after, how long did it take before they caught the cancer, or before they diagnosed you with cancer?
It was 2 days. Right, from the MRI to when we went back to see her.
Well, to went back to see her was 3 days. Yeah, it was a Friday appointment, and then we had to wait that weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I was supposed to leave with my dad, so he was upset that we had to wait. But we got the results Monday, and then that's when she told us. And then from there, that Thursday we got in touch with our cancer family, and then the Friday after we had a biopsy, and the next week we started chemo treatment on the Thursday.
So things moved pretty quick then.
Oh, yeah.
Really quickly.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it moved really quick.
Well, I mean, certainly, being diagnosed with cancer is it's no walk in the park.
No.
But certainly, there's always a lot of reasons, and obviously your injury. If you were never injured, my guess is that you would have caught. Who knows, what could happen, after that. But certainly, we're thankful that you caught and you were able to get treatment right.
I think the doctors say we caught at the perfect time because just about a week after, we were supposed to go in that Saturday of the next week, but we had to go in 3 days early on Thursday because all of a sudden it was like the tumor didn't really like getting caught because it just flared up.
Almost like a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And from being able to run in 3 days, I was stuck to a cane and I couldn't even bend my leg forward.
That quick.
Yeah, that quick.
Oh, well.
And they said they cut it just before it spread to the lymph nodes, which was terrible.
Not every person, responds well, and then being a teenager, it's just that much, it goes from here to here, And so that leads me to my next question. This is for you, Noah. After your diagnosis, what was your initial thoughts, that very, first thought that you got? Were you, emotions like anger, sadness? Were you motivated to beat this thing? Were you scared? If you don't mind sharing with us.
It was really surreal. Even to this day, I can't really explain it. But I was sitting on the 5th floor of this building, and then the word cancer slipped from her mouth, and as soon as she said that, my heart sunk 50 feet. And then in the 2 seconds that it took to sink, it just jumped right back up, and I was like, all right, what's next? And then that was it. And that was probably the extent of my sadness that I felt about cancer during it. I got sad, but it was never about cancer. It was more about, a dumb relationship or girl problems or whatnot. But I think I didn't even cry about cancer until after I beat it. It was a really surreal experience, but for whatever reason, my brain was like, all right, this is just like a part of my life now, and that we're gonna get it. I have what it takes to conquer it. So
you were pretty motivated to feel like I'm gonna beat this thing.
And I mean, in those 2 seconds, I felt all the negative emotions you could. Doubt, fear, sadness, why me, all these things, and then it just disappeared. It was like a sink in my chest.
Yeah.
And let go. So.
It was surreal, but then you felt like, what's next? What do I gotta do to beat this?
Yeah. Well, I can't be sad now. I gotta fix it.
Sometimes they say, there's 2 ways you respond. You either respond like a victim and undefeated, or you respond like, okay, what do we gotta do? Let's. What are my options? What do I gotta do next?
Finding that silver lining was definitely a key throughout my entire journey. So
good. Well, it sounds like it's really made you into an incredible, mature young man, and I'm sure that people around you are just lucky to be around you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you have a great spirit. It sounds as though not a lot can keep you down, and so you sound very motivated. So I'm so happy you're here with us today. I'm so happy to hear this story. This is really good. Debbie, a question for you. So, what words can you think of when you hear the word your loved one has cancer? And how have you gotten through the last couple years since then?
So the words have changed since before Noah had cancer to now. now my words are, strength and fighter, and you got this, and faith, and the fear is there, but it's not one of the first words I think about. It's like, okay, you got this. We're gonna get through this together, and just embrace whatever it is. And it's hard to embrace cancer, right? Because cancer is not a good thing, right? But Noah taught me a lot. And yes, I'm his mom and I'm supposed to be the teacher, but it really switched when he got sick, because I became the student and he became a teacher, because he taught me, just like he said, the silver lining, and just finding there's good in everything. There's a lesson in everything. And I think that's what I learned. And so yeah, I really think that was it. How did I get through these last 2 years? The first 3-4 months, lots of tears. I was not as strong as Noah. Noah is definitely stronger than I am. I didn't, there was a rule in the house. Nobody could cry in front of Noah. You couldn't be sad in front of Noah. He didn't want to hear that. He knew that he was going to beat this. So there was a lot of late night cries. But then just seeing his strength and seeing who he is and who he was becoming, it just kind of made me stronger. And so yeah, I mean, and through the enormous support that we received. I mean, when we got in the car, I was still trying to process it. His dad was there, because remember, they were supposed to leave that day. And so I had to tell his dad also, because this, again, COVID, so only 2 of us could go in. And so Dad was in the parking lot, and I had to tell him. And so first thing I did when Noah got in the car is I said, don't tell the boys. The boys are his very close-knit group of friends, because he went to a private school and it's very close-knit. And so what happens when you tell the boys tell their moms, and then the phone starts going off the hook, right? And I wasn't ready for that yet. I hadn't even told my parents. I hadn't told those the closest to me, so I wasn't ready. I was still trying to process all of it. And no sooner did I tell him, don't tell the boys, did he say, oops. And so I was like, oh, here come the moms.
Sure enough.
And it did. But I needed that too, and I just didn't know I needed it.
Yeah.
So,
you never know. Right?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yes.
That's amazing what our children can teach us. I mean, in general, just as parents, our children, we see them and they're resilient. They fall, they get hurt, but they get right back up, and just like nothing.
Yeah.
But top that off with now a child with cancer, or a young man with cancer, and then you see them resilient, and it's just absolutely amazing how how much we learn from them. And as parents, you just kind of take it aback and think, man, would I have been like that? As a
Right.
young man, or
Right.
So wow, that's so good. Okay, so next question. This is for both of you. Can you share with us your journey with cancer overall, from kind of start to finish? Maybe there's a particular part of the journey that you want to share with with our audience. Something that really sticks out, whether it was the beginning, the middle, the end, just something about the cancer journey itself.
I think one thing that's always stuck with me after my journey and post-treatment was the faith in humanity that I kind of gained after. Because, before it was kind of like all you ever see in the news is the bad stuff, and, what can go wrong and what is going wrong in the world. And, being put with this enormous pressure on you with, all right, I may die within the next year. And then you have all these people that are groups of people that are willing to help, heal you and nurse you back. It really stuck with me, and it really, helped me, not only my journey, but have a different perspective and a different light as I go through my life. And
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. You have such an amazing perspective on life.
It was very, I can't help but think about, the kids, the 3-year-olds I would walk in, and they had, I think I spoke to them once, but they had a leukemia, the cancer, and, he had been going there for 2 years. So I saw that and I was like, why can't I do this for 10 months, And then the nurses, when my taste buds were acting up, and everything I ate just I had to spit out. It was just horrible. And a box of Cheez-Its was like the holy grail to me that night. It was amazing, and she let me keep the whole thing. It was a family size.
That's good.
And it's little things like that that really just helped my perspective and helped me get through like the hard days. Because towards the end of my treatment, it kind of got rough, but it couldn't have ended at a better time. So yeah, I think what really came out of that treatment was just like the kindness that people have.
That's awesome. It's amazing the things that we take away. You know, we're going through such a difficult battle.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Debbie?
I mean, I have to echo what Noah said. I mean, there are people. I mean, we were in the hospital as a mom. You know, our job is to take care of our family, right, and to make sure everybody's fed, everybody's taken care of, everybody has clothes, everybody has what have you, right? And I couldn't do that because for 2 to 6 days out of the week, and then that's only the hospitalizations. That's not even counting the doctor's appointments, the clinic appointments. But 2 to 6 days out of the week, I was at the hospital with him, and so I still have a crew at home. You know, my grandson was born, and he lives with it. My grandson was born in February of that year, so he was not even 6 months when he got sick, and so we're helping out with that too. And so, and then I had a job. I have a full-time job. So, but I will tell you that my family, while we were in the hospital, when I was in the hospital with him, my family was fed every single night by just generous people. And we never had to worry about it. And I can't tell you how many times that, because hospital food isn't good, and I'm sure you can relate. It's not that good, and it gets old after a while. And so people would donate or would deliver food to us at the hospital. And one time, was it Thanksgiving or that we had a big old spread for us and the nurses and everybody.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
so it's just, people are just awesome. Like, you know, I mean, and friendships that came out of this that are going to be lifelong, and just the desire to continue to pay it forward.
Sure.
And
That's awesome.
you know that nothing I encounter ever in my life will be what he went through, and I stood, you know, me and his dad stood by him. So
It's amazing the benevolity of people, the kindness of people when you're going through something like cancer, that you really end up seeing. And I think we all see it every day, but I think we don't really see it, if it makes sense, until, you know, something like this happens
You can
to our families.
almost feel it and touch it.
Yeah,
Like,
you
it's-
can.
Like, I remember the drive that they had. That's where the Noah Strong came from. My friend Arabella, she organized the drive-by like a couple weeks after I got diagnosed, and that was the most overwhelming part of the entire journey, because just I didn't know, like, these are people that I haven't known my whole life. You know, most of them, they grew up together and they've been together holding hands since they were 3 years old. So I didn't know I had that, I guess, foot in the door
Yeah.
with all these people, because they were so private school. I came from public school, and just the amount of love was insane.
That's
yeah, there was probably 50 cars that drove by the house, and
They all came out, and just like you could feel the love.
Yeah, just to support you.
Yeah.
And support your family.
From
and they
that-
continue to do that.
Yeah, from that moment on, I didn't have a doubt in my head that was gonna be it. I was like, okay, you know, if all these people are backing me up, how can I?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's amazing. All right, let's move on to our next question. And Noah, this is for you. Is there anything different that you would do today that you didn't do when you were first diagnosed? In retrospect, looking back.
Well, I wouldn't be putting on a leg, that's for sure. But I think,
If you had a choice, you mean.
yeah. I think, what would I not be doing today?
Yeah, in other words, if maybe something that you think back and go, man, if I would have done this, you know,
Yeah.
that would have been better, or I could have done that, you know.
I think a lot of my journey was, sorry. Are you asking, like, what could I do?
Yeah, in other words, not something physical that you can do,
Mhm.
but if there's something that you can look back and go, man, I wish I would have done that, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Once
I
you
would have
got
done that.
diagnosed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
after your diagnosis.
I think a lot of my journey wasn't so much like what I could do,
Okay.
but the environment and the people around me, you know, kind of like setting that
Okay.
I really can only give my journey to everyone that helped me out along the way, because it wasn't, it takes a village to raise a person.
Sure.
Is what my one of my people on my team would always say, and it really came out in that journey. So I don't think it really came out to what I could do, but so much about that support system, and just staying positive is really key in it. So.
That's good. I remember there was a time that I asked somebody. I said, if there's anything that you would change, during your journey, would you? Because one thing that I learned was whatever decisions I made sure that those were the decisions, and I wasn't gonna let somebody change my mind and say that was the wrong decision. I made the decision and I stuck with it, good or bad. I stuck with it, because then you live with regret and guilt. And so I was taken aback, and I remember hearing that early on with our cancer journey. But it's interesting. A lot of families seem to have kind of the same answers. Like it's people, it's the environment, it's the who I surrounded myself with that was just absolutely amazing, and that's what a lot of people end up taking away from their journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all right. So let's go. Another question for you. No, excuse me, Noah. What advice would you give others who are perhaps battling cancer just like you, specifically maybe teens?
To just really live like you're still a teen. Because once you start, I think a big part of cancer is just the mindset you have going into it. And at a certain point, you can't do much, so you kind of just got to trust that your doctors and nurses do the best they can. And you just kind of I always saw cancer and treatment as a job. I got to clock in, sit there and lay, and then clock out. And then, for those 6 days, I'm probably going to be in and out of sleep, but, they're going to be doing their jobs.
Yeah.
I think it's really just appreciating the moments you have, and, appreciating, again, the people around you.
Yeah.
That's a big part. And, even if you don't have too many, the people that are there, they love you and they're there to help. So
that's true.
It's very special, just taking it day by day, and not, so much focusing on, oh my God, I got 10 more months, I got 9 more months. It just, because it flies by.
Sure. And I think it's so important, right? You're just making sure that today matters. Tomorrow will bring whatever tomorrow brings, but making today count.
Right.
That's good. Okay. And again, another question for you, Noah. What advice would you give other kids, maybe that have lost a limb, or to cancer, or maybe lost their independence, or something that they could do and they can no longer do? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Maybe that it will not limit you. It will not hold you back. The only limits you have are the ones you set on yourself.
That's good.
And to a certain degree, of course it takes time. It's not going to be, instant. But
sure.
Just this past week, I finally figured out how to skateboard again with my legs. So it's really just,
You can skateboard.
I can skateboard.
Really? That's something we need. Do you have video?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we need some video. You need to post that. That's cool.
I just found out because I looked up on YouTube. I was like, how to skateboard with prosthetic. Maybe it's out there, And this guy was doing giant ramps. I was like, surely I could just go on the street. So I think it's really yes, it's gonna hold you back to a certain extent, but as time goes on, as you keep, getting at it, the little baby steps and little victories, they'll take you a long way, and you'll get back to where you want to be. So
wow, that in itself is just that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
That's
Thank you so
awesome. That's really cool. Now I'm gonna see the video. When we're done here, I'm gonna if y'all can look at the videos. That'll be cool. All right, Debbie, let me ask you this. What message do you have for parents who are dealing with cancer?
It's a message that was given to me when he was sick, because I had a hard time. I had a really hard time. And my boyfriend told me, he said, babe, just follow his lead. And that's the best message, right? Because our kids are so much stronger than we are. Period, point blank. There's no question about it. And it's just once I learned to follow his lead, I was so much better. I was so much more at peace, as much as I could be. I think that's probably the best advice. Just follow their lead.
Would you mind maybe sharing an example of how you did that?
Probably the hardest hardest experience was when he chose this surgery. So there were two choices. There was limb saving surgery, which would be, in the most simplest terms, a knee replacement.
Okay.
And so his knee would become mechanical, right? That was the one we were kind of, I was like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and do this. And that's the one his doctor was talking about. Oh, but then here comes along, Jillian. Jillian is a gold medalist in sitting volleyball. And yeah, sitting volleyball, right?
She happened to be my mentor. So she went through
Her
this
cancer mentor, yeah.
the same exact cancer, the same exact everything, just on the opposite leg. So she came in to talk about rotationplasty, which she had, and then my mom wasn't too much.
Yeah. Well, it was just because who ever heard of this surgery? Right? And my kid's gonna have a backwards foot. What?
Yeah, I thought they were joking, to be fair.
And so as a parent, right, we're a little more vain than our kids are, right? Kids are more accepting. We aren't, I guess, as adults, right? Because we look at things differently, and we have adult eyes now. We forget that we were kids, and I don't want him to be that kid. I don't want him to be picked on or made fun of or anything like that. And I mean, let's face it, having a backwards foot is a little kind of, it's weird, right?
It is.
And it's hard to kind of grasp your mind around it. I'm okay with it now. Now, when he's sleeping, I see his little leg there, then it's fine, But that was really hard. And so here comes Jillian, and something wrong. She's a fabulous. Jillian Williams is her name. Please look her up. She's an awesome person. And she also has their same cancer team, oncology. We call it our cancer family, but oncology team. They are. And so our doctors made it so that we came on a clinic visit the same time Jillian did, and Jillian's 3 years ahead of Noah on her cancer journey. So she just officially became a survivor a couple months ago. So for Ewing Sarcoma, they become survivors at 5 years. So 5 years of clear scans, and so she just became a survivor. And so the appointments were the same day, same clinic, and here comes Jillian walking in with all her wonderfulness and just as cheery as can be. I mean, her and Noah are one and the same. And so once he met Jillian, that was it. He went to Dr. Rajani and he said, "Hey, I want this rotationplasty." And he's like, "What? You know about that?" And he did this research. Yeah, he did the research. He's like, "Mom," and I said, "No, you're crazy. I'm getting that." And
I told you, yes, I am.
Yeah.
This is it.
And
I went right to my room, and then the next day, I think for the next 20 days, until like a week getting up to it, she asked me, "Are you sure you want this? Are you sure you want this?" Which, is fair, it was very skeptical, but it was either get the knee replacement and be able to walk for 5 years and then have to get surgery at most 5 years, or if you want to run, you got to get it like every year, every 2 years. And I was like, or I could get one surgery and I just look goofy and then I have a leg too. So I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a great deal, and I'd rather not be in PT for the rest of my life. So I love it. I'm glad I got it.
Well, it's just amazing how mature, and I've said that a couple times already, but I go back to that where, you just exude maturity, and this was 2 years ago, right?
yeah, so he was just coming on. Yeah, he was 17. His surgery was October, and he was going to turn 18 in December. So at that point, I looked at his dad and I said, "We can't tell him no. We can, but we really can't." And I said, if this is what he wants, he's done his research, and that's one thing, he does his research. He doesn't just say, let's do this, and he does his research, and I think he looked at probably all of Jillian's videos and other rotationplasty patients. There's a lot of them, actually.
A lot of them are in Paralympics, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of them they have rotationplasty. Because it gives you the opportunity at 100%. It's really just how far you're willing to go. And as opposed to PT, like for 3 months we get a knee replacement, like every 2 years we get it replaced. It's like PT for about 4 years, and then you're at 100. So,
Well, I hate to put you on the spot, but you said that you like to skateboard. That's something that you've considered, maybe like a sport.
Yeah. So there's a lot of even people have reached out to me, and most of them aren't even like really good at sports beforehand. they get amputee and they were like athletic people, and then they were like, okay, I'll just see what sports I can do, and then they end up winning medals. So it's kind of that kind of world, and I would love to go practice with them. I know there's one kind of near Pittsburgh, but yeah, them as well, and also down here just training Olympic centers. So it's definitely an avenue that I'd love to pursue someday.
I think you could do it.
Of course, yeah, it would be so fun.
All you gotta do is tell him he can't do it, and he's gonna do it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, hey, we need heroes like that. We need leaders like that, because people look up to that. Young children will look up to that. And you hate to say it, but I mean, there's going to be other kids that are unfortunately going to be in your predicament, and they're not going to know what to do, and they're going to have questions. Parents are going to have questions, and then they may see a video of you, doing something, and then they're going to be like, I want to be like that, or maybe they may see this video, or see your encouraging word, and say like, I want to be like Noah, and that's amazing, that you're almost like a role model now, and so that's just really cool.
And
So,
he's an outlier too when it comes to Ewing sarcoma, because normally it's younger kids.
okay.
It's like 2 to 12, and so he's an outlier when it comes to the norm, if you will. And so he's and rotationplasty, same thing. Most kids who get it are young ones. So here he was.
Yeah, because like with the knees, this one is longer. So young kids get it because they grow into it, so their knees will be the same. But now mine is like it's just longer now.
Right.
But there's always surgery to extend the knees, so that'll be fun.
and yeah, his doctor had a heck of a time doing his surgery too. Dr. Rajani, if you're listening, he's the most amazing doctor ever. He's now in El Paso, unfortunately. We've gone to see him twice. But he's the one who did the surgery, and it was 10, 11 hours because he's used to doing it on younger kids who don't have muscles, who aren't athletic. And here this kid is athletic and muscles and everything else, so he actually lost, what did you lose? One hamstring?
I lost 2 hamstrings and then like 2 inner muscles and a hamstring. Yeah.
Right, because there was no room because he was so buff, if you will. And so it was
challenging.
Yeah, it was challenging for him. So he came out, he looked beat to what.
Well, I mean, I guess the testament to his work is great.
Oh yeah, it healed perfectly. I was thankful enough to have next to no complications during most of my treatment. Yes, it was awesome.
Well, it could certainly, be attributed to your positivity and your motivation to just want to, get better and like you said earlier, you want to be normal. You want to be a teenager, right? So, okay, now I got to get to the meat of one of the things I want to talk to you guys about. This is for both of you. Tell us about the Stay Strong Foundation and what you're doing for the community. Let's hear that.
So Stay Strong Foundation is something that we started after I was cleared for cancer. We focus on caring for pediatric patients.
Okay.
So not only cancer, kids going through cancer, but any illness that keeps them in the hospital. We are primarily partnered with University Hospital because that's where all the county kids go. And, sometimes they don't have the benefits that we were luxurious enough to have. And it's something that we wanted to focus on. And again, I got to bring it back to that kid that I would see walk in every day, just 2, 3 years old. And he was the sweetest kid, always had a smile on his face. And every time I came in, I couldn't help but want to do something for him. So I think that year we started doing the costume drive, and then we did a toy drive for Christmas. And then later on in the year we did Easter baskets for them. Just things because, personally, I was locked in the. I was impatient. I was locked up. So I couldn't.
It was a job, right?
I couldn't spend Christmas at home. So for kids like me, we were able to bring Christmas to them, and I think we were able to get at least 5 presents per kid that was in there. So that was very, very exciting, being able to just provide that. Even with COVID, we were still able to give them off. But now recently, just this past February, we did Wrapped in Love, which was a blanket drive. Okay. So because blankets are a big thing for kids there. You know, like that's your snuggle buddy. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And the hospital blankets, they do what they can, but if they're
No.
not heated up, you know,
It's rough.
Yeah.
So now this summer, at the end of the summer, we're having a kickball tournament to help raise money and allow us to do more things with kickball.
Now, will that be here in San Antonio?
That will.
It will.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about that.
We're doing that August 13th at West Orange Hills Church, and
Okay,
it
awesome.
should be really fun.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's something that we certainly want
Absolutely.
We'd love to get a team from y'all. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So, are there going to be like
I nominate
teams
you.
competing against each other?
We're hoping to get 20 teams.
Okay, 20.
So
Is it a one-day event?
It's a one-day event. Yeah, and actually it's going live tomorrow. We're gonna put the website live and everything.
Awesome.
But it's so on our Facebook page we'll have everything out there. But yeah, it's August 13th. We're looking for teams from between 9 and 15 players,
Okay.
and $125. And
And
come on, have a great time.
is there a restriction in terms of the team of who participates, or?
We're not gonna do that.
Okay, so it's young
It's
kids.
young kids,
boys, girls,
yeah.
adults.
Yep,
Grandma.
If you, we are making it adaptable, so if you have
Okay.
someone that can't run, you can have a proxy runner. If you can't kick, you can have a proxy kicker.
That's gonna be so much fun.
So Noah's gonna be one of the umps.
Yeah, I would love to be an umpire.
So-
we're gonna
For sure.
officiate in some games.
Well, yeah, bring your skateboards. We'd love to see that skateboard in action.
Yeah, we're actually doing a skateboard theme, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Skateboards and Sunsets 5K in October. That's his anniversary month.
Okay, is
So
that here locally as well?
that'll be locally. We're still working out the
Sure.
But
we look forward to
that's
seeing
yeah. But the other big thing that we do is, and this one mostly is towards pediatric cancer patients, is we do they're called icon shirts.
Okay.
In care of Noah. That's what it stands for, and they are shirts that was gifted to him when he was sick. Because getting access, because the ports are usually up here or on the side, and we're finding that more often than not there's a lot on the side, but they're up on the chest area. And for girls or even boys, nobody likes taking off their shirts and just being exposed to everybody. And so his aunt made him some zipper shirts, and so that they can access his port, so he can just still be there and just lay back and just zip it, and there you go. So we have T-shirts that are donated, or funds that are donated to purchase T-shirts, and we go out and buy brand new T-shirts. We try to get them in characters that kids like. We get requests, or we just buy a bunch and we just give them to the hospital. However we do it, and we do all sizes. I've done as big as 3X down to the smallest ones, I'm sad to say, was 3T. So, but we get all the T-shirts, and I put the zippers in there, just on my little sewing machine. I put the zippers in there, and we don't charge our warriors.
Okay. So yeah, I was gonna say if there's a family out there that maybe is listening.
Yeah.
If they need one, they can contact your.
Yes.
Your
Somebody wants a shout out.
StayStrongFoundation.net.
Somebody wants a shout out.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
Bryce.
Oh,
Right.
Eric.
No, Bryce.
Says, I know I want a shout out. Bryce.
Oh.
So for
Hey, Bryce.
those not
Nice to
here
see you.
watching video, we actually have a monitor that we can see, but we got a big bright light that's kind of.
Aw, yeah.
So we're depending on what they're saying.
Yeah, so our icon shirts, and actually Bryce is actually one of another teenager who has Ewing Sarcoma in his pelvis, and he is now 18, and he just got his last PET scan today. He finds results out tomorrow, so we are sending.
Rooting for you, Bryce.
Yeah, he's got this. We hope to be with him to when he rings the bell here soon.
We'll be praying for him for sure. Thank you for letting us know.
Of course.
So some final thoughts, and this question is for both of you. What are your thoughts on having a support center or a support network or a resource center in the San Antonio community?
I think it's awesome.
think
I really
it's-
do.
Yeah, I think it's vital. You know, having that person or that group that you can reach out to. You know, because nothing's meant to go through alone, and your painting here says it best. Together we're stronger than cancer. So you know, just finding people that you can rely on to be there. You know, when you're not strong enough, is very important. I know. You know, that helped her out a lot because, especially that rule which can't be said around me. Her friends I know were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see how much they helped you out. So
Yeah.
Support is so important. I know you can echo that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just, and there was nothing like that for us when he got sick. Yes, I had friends, and they were amazing. Don't get me wrong. And his school community, Central Catholic, and they had a great community and of helpers and people that just came out and just supported us in every way. But to be able to be around people who understand cancer and understand the journey, and or maybe don't understand it, but at least can relate.
Sure.
Maybe they're not at that point where they can understand it yet, but they can at least relate. It's so much more helpful.
That's good.
It really is, and I think that this is awesome what you guys are doing here. I really do.
You know, I think it's really important to have that support. I know for us, and I know for many cancer families, you know, you tend to lean on your support, whether it's a family or a church, or just a group of friends, you know, that you're close with. I know even leaving one city to go to another may be even hard. And I know, like, you're in Pittsburgh now, and so you have to make a lot of new friends. But now that you've been there a while, I'm sure you have a community of friends up there that support you and take care of you, and you know, whatever you need, they're like, I got your back, man. You know? And so, so I think that's so important, you know, having that support for cancer families, you know, so that they don't feel they're alone, you know, because we're walking this journey, you know, together.
Mm-hmm.
of course.
So in conclusion, is there anything you guys want to add? You know, anything that you feel maybe we haven't covered tonight, or something that you want to share before we end tonight?
I think I would just like to re-echo the importance of just keeping not only an open mind when going to appointments and whatnot, but just staying positive. That's really been the defining factor. A lot of other cancer patients that I've talked to, and people support along the way, like Bryce, he's also an amazing kid, and he's super positive, and you know it glows and it shows. And he's had a harder journey, and he stays more positive. So I think it's very important, you know, just keep that light around, and you know, people that help you bring that light out of yourself, keep them around too, because they're gonna help you get through it.
Having people that are positive around you, so key, right?
It's very
And make the rule, like Noah did. Right. No sad, no crying. I broke it a couple times. But no, that's really the key, and just find a silver lining. And again, it's hard with cancer, right? It's hard to find that silver lining, but there is one. And another lesson Noah taught me is a little stuff really doesn't matter anymore.
a little late, you know.
Yeah.
Forgot a little pen. Oh.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
You don't major on the minors.
right. Right.
We learned that too. So I think a lot of families' perspective when they're diagnosed with cancer, I mean, your perspective on life changes really quick.
Oh, absolutely.
You figure out what's really important and what's not.
Absolutely.
And the little things within the body,
Right.
As much as they used to.
Right.
Just perspective has changed.
Right.
You too.
So awesome. So do we have any questions?
So great interview. Destiny Moreno says, great interview with Debbie and Noah. Thank you, Gabriella. Smile for this. Do you know who Destiny is?
It's easy to interview, and you have amazing people. Like, you guys just exude confidence. You exude passion. You exude love. You exude honesty, transparency, and so we appreciate that. And that's what our cancer families need.
Absolutely.
They need to hear positivity, because as you guys know, I mean, you're gonna have great days and you're gonna have really bad days.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, even though the bad days may not outnumber the good days, the bad days sometimes feel like they overwhelm the good days.
Oh yeah, you get drained, and you get to the point where, and even now, he still goes through his scans. He goes every 3 months, and it's just that's anxiety. It's a real thing, you know. And I hate when he gets them in Pittsburgh because they take forever to get the results. Here we get them in the same day, so but you know, it's just okay. And you want to say it's going to be okay, but there's still that little something that's just back there. Oh, another advice for parents especially, and even teenager kids that are on Google and whatnot, don't Google it.
Yeah.
That was probably the best
Yeah,
advice.
that's
Don't Google.
we did.
We did.
I tried as long as I could. My cousin did, and I said, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. And but don't Google. You know, trust your doctors.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't have to. Luckily, we didn't have to travel far to find amazing doctors. We were treated. He was treated right here at the university, here in San Antonio. So a lot of people told us, "Oh, go to MD Anderson," which are all great hospitals. Go to St. Jude. Go here. Go there. And it's like, you know what? We're okay.
Yeah.
And we felt an instant connection with our doctors. We did, I think, once think about possibly getting a second opinion. His dad wanted one,
Yeah.
and we were like, you know what? We're okay.
Yeah.
This feels right.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
That's really good.
We have a question.
yes.
Where can we find out like what events you're having on social media, or do you have a webpage?
So yeah, we have a webpage at staystrongfoundation.net.
And
And that has, you know, it's updated regularly. But also Facebook.
the
page.
Facebook page and Instagram.
And we can probably link it to
Mhm.
to today's interview.
Yeah.
So that way, people have access to that.
Yeah, so there's definitely we're still a new foundation, so we're a new organization, so we're muddling our way through, and we want to have fun while raising funds for pediatric patients and everything. Not one of us are paid members of the board or anything like that. We are it's all volunteer. We have a great board of 10 people. Another one of them is a cancer warrior like Noah, and he's actually in Houston and had some complications. He has, I think you guys met him, but last time we were here, but Kenny. So we definitely want to send prayers out for Kenny. He's gonna get through this little bump in the road. We know that. So.
And we did meet him during our grand opening,
Mhm.
so he was certainly excited about Stay Strong. He
Right.
was showing. We had I guess a life-size poster of you here. For those of you that did not attend,
We saw Noah.
life-size poster
Yeah.
of Noah here, and it was awesome. People were like, "Well, who's that?" And then you got to tell your story.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So, do you have any other questions?
No, it's yeah.
Anybody here? You guys have any questions? No?
Thank you.
Well, on behalf of Gabriella Small Foundation and the Cancer Support Center, thank you so very much for coming. Certainly for my part, not only as a dad, of a child that had cancer, but just also as a person who just is in awe of somebody who fights strong, for himself, for his family, for your belief. Thank you so much for what you do. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching.